Guys, welcome back to the channel. Your daily source for real one and no nonsense NFL updates. If you are someone who lives and breathes football, you are in the right place. Here's we don't do fake hype or clickbait and breathe only real stories, smarter breakdowns and the real moves that actually matter. Right now, something big is happening around the Philadelphia Eagles, and trust me, this is the kind of updates that could change everything. So make sure you stay logged in because what you are about to hear might just surprise you. Okay, let's go on the.
The clock struck 0, and the silence inside the stadium was absolutely deafening, a stark contrast to the roaring expectations that had filled the air just a few months prior. The Philadelphia Eagles, a franchise that was sitting on top of the football world not too long ago, found themselves completely engulfed in a firestorm of controversy, internal friction, and shocking drama that has left the entire NFL landscape buzzing. What we have witnessed over the last several weeks is not just a simple losing streak or a mid-season slump, but rather an unbelievable scandal involving power struggles, leaked locker room secrets, and a catastrophic breakdown of coaching structure that has fans across the city and the country questioning the very foundation of this football team. The facade of brotherhood and mental toughness that was preached endlessly from the podium has completely crumbled, revealing a chaotic environment where players are frustrated, coaches are pointing fingers, and the front office is scrambling to do damage control behind closed doors. This is the kind of drama that usually takes years to surface, yet it has exploded all at once, turning a Super Bowl contender into the most talked about disaster in professional sports. At the absolute center of this escalating scandal is the baffling and unprecedented handling of the defensive coaching staff, a situation that defies all logic and standard NFL operating procedures. To understand the magnitude of this shocking development, you have to look at how the season started versus where we are right now. The organization made a massive splash by hiring Sean Desai to run the defense, bringing in an outsider with a specific vision to elevate an already elite unit. But as the losses began to pile up and the defensive metrics plummeted to historic lows instead of a standard firing, the organization orchestrated a bizarre lateral move that demoted Desai and handed the play-calling duties over to Matt Patricia, a coach who was essentially a defensive consultant and had no business running a modern NFL defense. This power struggle at the top created a toxic environment on the sideline, with players openly expressing confusion over play calls, misalignments happening in real time on national television, and a visible lack of effort that screamed of a locker room that had completely lost faith in the scheme. Leaks from inside the NovaCare complex suggested that Heat coach Nick Sirianni overruled his initial instincts to appease certain veteran voices, leading to a fractured chain of command that opponents easily exploited week after week. The ripple effects of this coaching scandal directly manifested in the body language and sideline demeanor of the players, creating viral moments that only fueled the rampant speculation about a divided locker room. The most glaring and talked about incident involved star receiver A.J. Brown, who was repeatedly caught on broadcast cameras, sitting alone on the bench, isolated from his teammates, seemingly disengaged from the chaos unfolding on the field. While Brown later attempted to clarify that he was simply reviewing digital play sheets on his tablet, the optics were disastrous for a team already fighting off rumors of internal collapse. Fans and analysts alike zoomed in on every interaction, noting the lack of communication between Brown and quarterback Jalen Hurts, the absence of emotional leadership from the offensive captains, and a general sense of apathy that seemed to infect the entire offense. When a team with this much talent and championship aspirations starts looking defeated before the game even ends, it is a glaring red flag that the culture has rotted from the inside out, and the silent protests on the sideline speak volumes louder than any post-game press conference ever could. Speaking of the quarterback, Jalen Hurts finds himself in an incredibly precarious position. navigating the turbulent waters of this scandal while carrying the weight of a massive contract extension and the unrealistic expectations of a desperate fan base. The narrative surrounding Hertz has shifted dramatically, transforming from a beloved clutch performer to a focal point of criticism regarding his ability to elevate the players around him when the system breaks down. The shocking drama surrounding the offense is not just about play calling, but about Hertz's apparent reluctance or inability to audible out disastrous plays at the line of scrimmage, leading to repeated sacks, turnovers, and stalled drives in critical moments. Insiders have whispered about a growing disconnect between Hertz and the coaching staff, suggesting that the quarterback feels handcuffed by a conservative approach that completely abandoned the dynamic rushing attack that made him a superstar in the first place. When you combine the pressure of the contract with the crumbling infrastructure of the team around him, you have a recipe for a player who looks completely shell-shocked, desperately trying to force plays instead of playing the free, instinctual football that defined his rise to stardom. The fallout from this unbelievable scandal has extended far beyond the white lines of the football field, infiltrating the airwaves and social media platforms where the Philadelphia fan base has erupted in a mixture of profound anger, betrayal, and utter confusion. Philadelphia is a city known for its passionate, often ruthless sports culture, but the current reaction feels different, more visceral, and deeply personal, because the fans feel lied to by an organization that sold them a bill of goods regarding stability and championship readiness. Local sports radio has been absolutely overwhelmed by callers demanding immediate changes, not just to the coaching staff, but to the overarching philosophy of the team. Message boards and social media timelines are flooded with side-by-side comparisons of earlier season dominance versus current defensive ineptitude, accompanied by conspiracy theories about secret rifts between the general manager and the head coach. The fans are not just upset about losing games, they are furious about the manner in which these games are being lost, citing a lack of physicality, a lack of preparedness, and a blatant disregard for the fundamental principles of Philadelphia Eagles football that have historically defined the franchise. National media outlets have picked up on the scent of blood in the water, amplifying the scandal and turning the Eagles into the premier laughingstock of the NFL in a matter of weeks. Prominent analysts and former players have taken turns dissecting the mess, with many pointing to head coach Nick Sirianni as the primary architect of this spectacular downfall. The narrative being pushed on a national level is that Sirianni, despite his early success, was severely outcoached once the rest of the league caught up to his schemes, and that his stubborn refusal to adapt ultimately led to the mutiny within his own locker room. The embarrassment of having the defensive struggles broadcast to the entire world, coupled with the leaked reports of player dissatisfaction, has stripped the organization of its mystique and respect around the league. Opposing teams no longer fear coming into Lincoln Financial Field, knowing full well that the Eagles are a fractured team suffering from a severe identity crisis, making this scandal not just a local tragedy, but a nationally televised humiliation that will take years to fully overcome. Behind the scenes, General Manager Howie Roseman is facing arguably the toughest test of his distinguished career, forced to play the role of a crisis manager rather than a draft architect. Roseman, known for his aggressive maneuvering and brilliant roster construction, built this team to be a bully, relying on a dominant defensive line and a physical running game to impose their will on opponents. The whispers circulating among league executives suggest that Roseman is furious with the lack of accountability on the sideline and is already exploring drastic options to salvage the situation, knowing that his own legacy and job security are now indirectly tied to the outcome of this. Unprecedented internal drama. Allowing a consultant to install a completely new system on the fly without a proper training camp is a fireable offense in the eyes of many football purists, showing a blatant disregard for the mental well-being and preparation of the players. This scandal was entirely preventable, stemming from an inability to admit a mistake early on.
So, and what's a wrap for today's update? If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more real straight to the point coverage of the NFL, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turns on notification so you never miss the what's coming next. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think this move makes the Philadelphia Eagles ever more dangerous this season, or is there still something missing? I read your takes and they shape what we do, what we talk about next. Thanks for watching. Stay smart, stay updated, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching and share this video. Thanks so much.